Hey, what's going on? So today I want to talk about the surgery. The surgery. So I have a testicular removal surgery in a day. A day. Yeah, just over 24 hours. Yeah, 12 o'clock tomorrow, 26th of March. And I can't remember the name of the testicular surgery. There's a certain name for it. Okiek, I can't remember. Trying to see if I can find a document on my folder. Yeah, nope, can't find it. But yeah, surgery is tomorrow. I've been told that it should be about 30 minutes. They said it's about 30 minutes to remove the testicle. A couple of days ago, I went to the hospital because they wanted to do another ultrasound just to make sure that they removed the right testicle. When I say right, I don't mean the right one, although it is the right one. That's the right one. Yeah, to remove the correct testicle. So, although everything is on file, they have to, because it's a different hospital, they need to make sure. So, had an ultrasound, and then they said there's like a almost like a marker of a lesion that was present in my right testicle, so they knew from there. Another thing which they said was, they said it's not necessarily a reason of concern, but they said they noticed from the scan calcification in the testicles, both of them. And I was like, how do you know? What does it look like? And it was these little white dots in there. And they said it doesn't necessarily mean anything, um, but it's just something to take note of for them. They said sometimes it's present when you've had testicular cancer, and sometimes it's present in people who don't. And one of the nurses that done the scan, she said that her husband has it, and you know he's fine, healthy. They have children together, so I guess that's just a bit of free information there. Um, so I've been instructed before the operation, um, about 6 hours before, at least 6 hours before, I should not be eating. No eating of any food. I don't know about the drinking situation. Um, but yeah, the appointment's at 12, so 6 in the morning latest, I would be having something to eat. Um, and that's if I wake up earlier. But I might be fine anyway. Like I can easily fast until later. So that's not a problem. I've also been told that I have to stop my anticoagulants, and that is the blood thinners. And I wanted to show you something. Oh, did I not prepare? Awesome. Nice one, Rog. Well done. Well done. Anticoagulants. So I'm sure I've shown you many times before. I was taking injections. Um, I think what they called um, amoxoparin. Those are the names of the injections that I was taking twice a day for many months. I started off on once a day, and then they done a scan. They got scared, and they said, "All right, you need to move up to 2 times a day, like once in the morning, once in the evening." I'm like, "Wow, I have to friggin' jab myself in the body twice." Like once was hard enough, and I was like, "I hate these injections." And yeah, eventually. I spoke to the hematologist maybe just over a week ago, and they said, "How do you feel about coming off the injections and moving over to tablets?" I said, "Yes, please." So I've been moved over to those, and this is what they look like right here. This is called apixaban, 5 milligrams, film coated tablets. So I just take one of these in the morning and evening. I've been told that I'll probably be taking these for about 1 year. Um, but hey, I don't mind that at all. No stress. The only thing is, um, I've had a couple of small injuries recently, and that's what you just cut yourself. Now, the purpose of the blood thinners or anticoagulants is to avoid clotting. When you have deep vein thrombosis in the body, you don't want your body to clot. That's dangerous, basically. So the whole idea is eventually the clots dissolve and the flow of blood becomes a lot smoother. The only thing is, when you take these, if you get a cut, if you have a little accident, you just constantly bleed. Even if it's a tiny little cut, you bleed and bleed. So I've been putting a plaster on, changing it for another plaster, changing it for another plaster. I'm thinking this tiny little cut, you know. I actually hit my foot recently and then it slowly started to bleed. So I'm gonna have to continue with the process on that one. But yeah, that's one of the things to be aware of when you're on blood thinners. They don't tell you of these things. They might even just think about like major injuries, you know, if you like be careful, like don't fall and hit your head or something. So yeah, what about the small things? Just tell me about the small things because that's a big deal as well. Because if you've got a little cut that's bleeding all the time, that's just not convenient. Cooking food, spilling all over the place, and you know, infection. Do you know what I mean? It's just fleshy and open all the time. But anyway, on the subject of the apixaban, I've been told I need to refrain from taking them or stop taking them at least 48 hours before surgery. Obviously, because they're going to be cutting me open, and the last thing they want is for my body to be, F it, pissing blood. So they need the clotting process to happen. So they said 48 hours before. So I'm thinking after the surgery, uh, there might be some more time afterwards. They might be like, okay, another 2 days afterwards. They haven't told me yet. I'm sure they'll give me further instructions after. But yeah, so the I guess the main reason is so the healing will be quicker, at least on the day after surgery. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have to have at least another day or two in being off the anticoagulants. We'll soon find out. The surgery should take about 30 minutes, and then I'll be free to go home. But I'm going to be under anesthetic, not local, but full anesthetic, which means I'll be asleep while they're chopping up my ball bags. It's weird. It's weird. Um, yeah, 30 minutes. Um, and either they would be taking you home or you would need a lift to go home. Excuse me. You are not to be driving home yourself. They they won't allow it, basically. Makes sense because apparently, you'd be feeling drowsy and I've never been under anesthetic before. Localized, yeah. When I had the beard done, when going to the dentist, obviously. But yeah, not general anesthetic. That's what they call it, right? General. Yeah, never had that before. And after operation, they've mentioned that they'll be providing some sort of tight underwear for me to wear. Um, which makes me think I might need to purchase some more, maybe smaller underwear, maybe a medium size or something. I think small would be too small, but medium, it's like strangulation, to be fair. Um, yeah, because for it to heal, so it's like for testicles, it's nature wants them to hang, and that's the way it should. It's healthy. But after operation, you need to keep it solid in place and not causing too much strain. So it needs to be secure in place. And they said, like, tight underwear. So I might need to order some on Amazon today. Maybe, I don't know, a box of five or something like that and use it in rotation. And then after a certain number of weeks, then I can put it in the bin, I guess, because I'm not going to be using it after that. Um, that's that. Yeah. Anything else? So there is there once the testicle is removed, when I was speaking to the doctor, they mentioned that I could have what do you call it? The synthetic testicle put in. Now, the doctor was saying that she would advise having it done sometime afterwards and not immediately. If you're to decide to have it, it needs to be done sometime after. She said there's like because of the way the process is, there could be lots of bleeding involved, and they said for it to be the most effective, they want to do it, create sew it up, and then create some compression on it immediately to speed up the healing. Putting a synthetic testicle in there, that means you have to leave it to be more, you have to leave it loose and hanging, which could cause complications. So she was saying it's best to come back after some time, then slice it back open, put a fake nut in there, and zip it up. And I said, "What's the material? Like, what's the material of the fake testicle or synthetic testicle?" And she said it's silicone. And after I heard that, I was like, "Mm, you don't need to, I don't need to be concerned about that then because I'm not interested in having silicone in my body. Like, not now or later. I'd rather just stick with one testicle. I'm not displaying my testicle on magazines or anything. Um, don't care. Whatever. Okay, aesthetically, it would be all right. But I'm not putting that in my body. No thanks. Um, I'd mentioned my concerns after, hearing so many reports of women having uh, silicone put in their body and the the sort of like after effects, the symptoms which they had got, some of them extreme headaches and, you know, allergic reactions and all types of stuff. And I was like, there's some foreign substance which I just don't want in my body. I don't want to, I don't know. It's not like you would feel it directly in that point. You might just, yeah, just like with women, they'll just end up with like constant headaches and they just don't know where it's coming from. If it was like a breast pain all the time, then it's like, okay, it's coming there, but you'll just start feeling issues. Now, I can't say this is the case for men, because obviously I've not experienced it. But sometimes when doctors, when they talk, they just give you some generic answers, or I don't know what the science says. And a lot of the time, I just don't trust the science, to be honest. Um, I'd just rather not. So I'm gonna be the one ball man. They said to refrain from heavy lifting. Um, that's it, really. I think I'd read in different places that, they say refrain from heavy lifting between 2 to 3 weeks. And then when you go on the Cancer Research UK website, they say like 2 to 4 months. I'm like, people, make your mind up, man. So I'm gonna go by the way I feel. I'm obviously not gonna go crazy into heavy lifting, but they said strenuous lifting, strenuous exercise, heavy lifting, which means I can still train. So that's cool. Um, and I guess we kind of know our bodies a lot of the time, you know. Um, and that's that really. Surgery tomorrow, and maybe I'll do another video about that. But just as a bit of free information, I'm looking to do some more videos in collaboration with Macmillan Cancer. They seem to be quite optimistic in working together. And I also want to continue to raise awareness on cancer, um, for men specifically, but I don't want to alienate other people. But I think men are probably less likely to get themselves checked out. I had a DM recently from a guy who said he was worried and he wasn't too sure, and he had been putting it off for a bit, and he was asking for my advice, which was beautiful. I really like that. The fact he came to me. Now, I don't know what the outcome is, but he decided he is going literally the following day after our discussion to get himself thoroughly checked out just to make sure. Um, and you catch it early, the survival rate is just like super high, at least with testicular. And with others, it's higher at least. So any concerns, straight to the doctor. I know of one lady I was speaking to recently. She hadn't had a smear test for about 4 or 5 years. And I was like, this is insane. But why? And she said, I'm scared. I'm like, it is more scarier if you don't go. She'd been experiencing lots of different um, issues with her body, you know, regularly sick, gut issues, pains, and all types of stuff. I'm like, get yourself checked out, have some blood tests, just get the full works. It's so important, so important. It's so important to just do that anyway. But if you have concerns, then obviously it's even more important. It's now become urgent. So, but catching stuff early, if something is there, is far greater than just closing your eyes and hoping for the best. All right, so that's me done for today. I hope you found this informative. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who may be interested. Until soon, you take care.